Hey, good morning. Hi, this is Ian Corzine, your social media lawyer. Thank you so much for joining us today. I really appreciate it. We're going to be talking about a lot of different things today. A lot of them are on my mind this week. I've done a whole bunch of different notes. I have a little notepad here where I talk about, or where I kind of take my thoughts, um, kind of some of the things that I want to talk about in my content. So we're going to be talking about censorship today. We're going to be talking about Dua Lipa and the copyright infringement lawsuit that is currently pending against her. We're going to be talking about TikTok, one of my favorite subjects because I love to analyze why TikTok is taking the world by storm. I don't know if you knew, but the news reports for this last week say that TikTok has now equaled and is rapidly going to surpass Facebook as far as usage and downloads of the app on mobile apps. So it's very, very powerful, this short form content kind of concept. And so I want to dig in deeper to that today in the live. Welcome to, I guess the Swedish Churi is here. So I want to say welcome to you. We also have Kevin Hawthorne. Good morning. Good to see you. Let's first talk about Dua Lipa. Let's just go straight into it. Let me see if I can get my screen going here. I'm going to do a share here. Share screen and Chrome tab and Dua Lipa share. Okay. So can we see that now? All right. Yeah. So here is the Dua Lipa story. I don't know if you've heard about it. You know, Dua Lipa, I guess, is a British singer. I never knew that she was British, but she's a great, awesome artist, really popular right now. And the story goes that Dua Lipa saw a photo of herself standing in line with a big floppy hat. And she decided to get this photo and post it to her Instagram. And this is a story that has happened so many different times, happened to Ariana Grande. I think it was Katy Perry also was a part of this. And it's the typical paparazzi scheme lawsuit. The bottom line is they take advantage of U.S. copyright law, and copyright law is a little bit, especially in this area, is a little bit counterintuitive. So it says right here, Dua Lipa sued for posting a paparazzi photo of herself on Instagram. Now, the key word is of herself on Instagram. And the reason why that's a key word is because in copyright law, even if the subject matter of the art is about you, is about your text, is about your image, whatever it is, the bottom line is the person who actually captured that and made it into a tangible form, that image or that piece of art, that's the owner. So in this particular case, she posts a video of herself standing in line. I guess you can't see the photo because no one is scared, is brave enough to put the photo on and risk getting sued by this paparazzi company. But anyway, she posts this, the Instagram or the photo on Instagram, and then she turned around and she is sued for $150,000 and also attorney's fees for posting a picture of herself on Instagram. So a lot of people are like, dude, I should be able to have control over my image. How can it be that if I see a photo of myself that I really like, that I can't post it to my own Instagram, my Facebook, put it on YouTube, whatever it is? And the answer to the question is the paparazzi guy took the photo in a public space. And you know what? When you are in public spaces out there, people can take your photos. The only limitation on it is if there's some sort of evidence that they unreasonably use your image, your likeness, and made a commercial profit off of it. In this particular case, that's probably going to be a defense for this. She'll probably countersue if she hasn't already. But yeah, so she was sued for this amount of money. And so what's going to end up happening, and you'll see, I think I have content coming out about this, is that she probably, I hate to, tell the ending necessarily, but I think she's going to lose. The bottom line is, and under the law, if you're in a public space and someone takes your photo, that person who takes your photo is the owner of that photo. So what it'll end up happening is it won't go to trial, I'm sure. She's probably extremely wealthy. There's probably not going to be a problem with her paying off a settlement. But I do think at some point in time, there will be a settlement. And she will, she'll be worrisome in the future about having her photo put on Instagram. So that's one kind of lesson for you guys. There's gosh, I tell you, I've made so much content lately, it's hard to follow up. But there is a video I'm putting out about what you can do on Instagram. And a lot of people right now are posting any and everything to Instagram, even though it's no longer a photo sharing app. Um, don't post anything to Instagram that you didn't create, you took a photo of, or that you don't own in some way. If you do that, there's people out there lurking, whether they be paparazzi, whether they be companies like large conglomerates that are looking for, they call them copyright trolls, that are looking for opportunities to sue you and to make you pay. And it's almost like humiliating, right? It's like make you pay for posting your own image or some image you don't own. So that's kind of the lesson from this Dua Lipa case, is that you have to make sure and you have to own your photo before. It's kind of weird that it's just only that bottom side. You have to make sure that you own your photo or you took the photo before you post it to social media. And I have to tell you guys that it's getting even worse these days. There are more and more copyright trolls out there. There are more and more scams out there. You got to be careful. In the old days, we would go to Google and we would either screenshot it or we would download the save image, and then we'd use some Google photo and put it in our video or maybe put it in our thumbnail, and we're fine. Share and share alike. Everyone, it grows the art. It's not happening now. There's lots of changes going on to social media, which we're going to talk about in the censorship part, that we really have to be careful about. And so please, if you can, if there's any way, original art only in your YouTube videos or any of your social media posts. Now, if you can't, there's a lot of review channels. I probably spend, 20 to 30, maybe 40% of my time with review type channels, people that love to do reviews of movies, or they do reviews of other YouTube videos or any kind of media. Maybe they just do art review. I have a friend who does NFT reviews. The problem with those things is that if you don't invoke the concept of fair use, you could be taken down. And YouTube is getting increasingly more sensitive. So is LinkedIn, very sensitive right now. TikTok is the one kind of outlier, but I anticipate that very, very soon that will be the same case with TikTok. So what does that mean? There's other alternative ways to get the concept that you're trying to discuss out there for people to consume. So I've talked to people about potentially doing fan art, about commissioning similar art. When I first started my podcast, I wanted this song for the intro bumper that sounded like another popular song, and I just commissioned a Upwork artist to kind of parody the beginning of this song, and it cost me $25. And I had this kind of the same kind of art that I wanted to put out there. So you could do the same thing. So just remember, if you're in that area where you're doing reviews and you're doing well with that, you got to use short clips. You got to take out audio if at all possible. You got to commission drawings and other things to invoke the subject matter. If you're talking about Batman, maybe you don't need to have Batman's face from a famous movie on the screen for 10 seconds. Maybe you can flash it for 1 second, talk about Batman back and forth over that clip, constitute fair use, and then not have copyright problems in the future. So even, we're going to talk about short form content more. It's getting even more important because with short form content, when you judge fair use, you judge by the actual art itself. So if you have a 15-second video and 3 of those seconds are, copyrighted art that you don't own, then there's a better case that you did not use fair use for these short form content. So it's even more important these days as we go through social media. So I will switch it over to here, and I just want to say hi to some people that came in today. We got Motive Scavy. Is it Scavy or Scary? I can't tell. Motive, isn't that her face? That makes no sense. She doesn't own her face. Yeah, I know. I'll put that up on the screen. Yeah, Motive, I know it doesn't make sense. It's very counterintuitive, but this is the subject matter of a lot of lawsuits. A lot of people out there are looking at your copyright trolls are looking, a lot of these paparazzi people are almost, because the penalties are so steep under US law, they're actually taking photos of stars in public places and almost like seeding it out there so that people, daring them, maybe they're beautiful shots, maybe they use Photoshop to edit it, and they're daring people to be able to take those photos and repost them to Instagram generally or the other social media platforms. And they know that a lot of artists are unsophisticated and they have so much money. So they know that if they get someone on the hook, like they got Dua Lipa here, that even if they don't settle for $150,000, $100,000, that's a good payday for a photo of Dua Lipa walking outside. So I totally see that. Nanobot reacts. Oh, speaking of reaction channels, I have a question. I'd love to hear your question. Let's see what it is. I am reacting to a friend's original metal song. However, his video is taken from an original horror mini video. Would I get a copyright strike by the horror video owner? His video is taken from an original horror. All right, so that's a copyright on top of copyright infringement issue. There's so many different issues here, or there's concerns here. First of all, reacting to your friend's metal song, it sounds like you have permission, so that's good. If you do react to your friend's art, no problem, just get it in writing. And it doesn't have to be a crazy formal writing. All you want to do is you want to say, hey, Dan, thank you so much for letting me react to your, or metal song or video here. Can you, I have permission to use this in perpetuity. And can you please just reply with to this email saying, yes, you do consent. I've done that in the past with creators. I've done some reaction videos on my channel, and I write to the creator and I just get an email reply saying, yes, you have permission. And even if later on in time there's an issue about what was the scope of that permission, the courts look upon emails like that as saying, listen, the guy gave you permission. This is an agreement between unsophisticated parties. We're not going to hold the person who's using the content to a really hard standard. So just get those emails, get that email consent. So that's the first thing. Sounds like you have consent there. Now it says his video is taken from an original horror mini video. His video is taken. So I don't know exactly about taken. In other words, a couple things pop up in my mind. One is the concept was taken. If the concept was taken, no problem. Ideas are not copyrightable. So if his concept was taken, then you're in the clear so long as you have consent. But then if his video is taken from the original horror mini video, maybe he took clips from the original mini horror video, and it just depends. If he took large clips, then he's probably got a problem. If he took short clips and he did some commentary, some critique, he taught maybe about music or metal music, that might be okay. It kind of depends. It's possible that if there is no fair use, the horror mini video owner could file what's called a DMCA takedown notice on YouTube or the other social media platforms and have it taken down for copyright violations. I think this is a kind of more specific case. I certainly, if you have more facts you want to add in the comments, I would be happy to consider those. But for right now, not knowing exactly what the extent is of his video was taken from an original horror mini video, I can't tell you. One of the things that comes up sometimes, guys, is that we have specific instances, and it's really important to the creator to get an answer to that question. And when you need those, when you have those situations, just remember that at iancorzine.com, you can always go to that link that's up at the top right-hand side and schedule a consult with me. And the best part is what you can do is you can send the links to the video. You can send me your video. You can send me the song. You can send me PDF documents. Maybe there's a consent issue, something like that. I can review all that before we meet, and then I can give you a personal answer to that question. We got LPO Gamer. I don't care about Dua Guy, but I didn't know she got sued. I don't know what Dua Guy means, but she got sued as well as many other people in the world relating to those copyright violations. Anna R is here. Hi, thank you so much for your help. Hey, thank you so much for joining us. I know it's early. Excuse me. Dua Lipa Rule 34. Now, Mr. Vigia, I do not know what Rule 34 you're referring to. Is it the Federal Rules of Civil Procedure? Maybe not. We got Anna here. I'm in the process of starting a YouTube channel and need basic question answered. Both fair use, I don't know what WS, and general question. I don't know if me getting a membership for 100 would be enough to meet my needs, or I think maybe she's talking about joining our membership in our channel. It's there's a couple ways to do it. We, of course, on the channel have a membership program, and basically what happens is there's a couple levels. You can join the membership and then have the access to private live streams where I try to answer questions in a much more specific way on a monthly basis. It's kind of there's two offerings. One is like, if you need the answer tomorrow, then you schedule a consult, or maybe the next day or whatever. If you can wait a month, or maybe you have an ongoing need, let's say your review channel, and you're always reviewing the next Harry Potter movie, and so you need help on an ongoing basis, the membership may be better for you, because that way, save up your questions, and then we do the monthly live stream for just those membership individuals, and then you can get your your questions answered that way. So, I'd happy to have you as a member. I'm happy to talk to you about it off the air. If you ever need to get a hold of me or whatever, you can always email me at info@iankorzine.com. That's info@iankorzine.com, or schedule a consult, whatever. Let's see, LPO. I have one question. It is cruel for sentencing death penalty to drug seller because the seller never killed anyone. Okay, not exactly sure what that question relates to, but if you give me some more facts, I'd be happy to look at it. Let's see, what do we got going here? Oh, okay. Yeah. Just Dude comes in and brings in a really interesting point. It says, I missed part, but if you say, please don't take my picture, they can post it anyway. The answer to the question overall is yes. And I hate to, be the bearer of bad news. Now, what you can do is mess up their picture, right? So if you say, please don't take my picture, and you put your arm in front of it, chances are you're not going to post it to your Instagram, and they're not going to be able to use it for any purpose they want. So a lot of stars you'll see are covered by security, umbrellas, whatever, because they don't want their pictures taken in public. But yeah, there's no law that says that you can't be taken, a photo can't be taken of you in a public place. The only exception to that rule is when someone uses that photo for commercial gain, and you can prove that that's the case. So if they took a picture of Dua Lipa and then they slapped it on a hoodie and made a lot of money with it, then Dua Lipa could sue for that. But not when a situation when you're in public space. I'm sorry, you don't have the right of privacy. Now, it does change. If Dua Lipa was in her backyard at a party, then that's a completely different situation. In private spaces, no photos can be taken. But in public spaces, if you're just going to the local 7-Eleven or McDonald's or something like that, then unfortunately, they can take your picture and you can't post it. That's their photo. All right. So let me just see. I have a couple more questions, but I do want to go to a little bit of a censorship thing, and I'll get right to you. I think is Anna. Okay. Or no, let's see. We got GB Rons. We'll talk to GB Rons in a moment. One of the things I wanted to talk about, though, before we go too far is, let's see, put this on the screen here. How do I do that? Okay. And let's do this. I guess we can move it. And let's stop screen. And then we will share the screen again. Sorry. We'll share. All right. And then we'll put it on the screen here. Okay. So let's talk about this a little bit. This is basically, we're going to be talking about censorship now on social media. And you've seen, I'm sure, a lot of creators that have been motivated to come out of the woodwork, frankly. I think a lot of us, especially when we started, and let's say started a couple years ago, just never thought this day would come. We just thought, social media is free for all. It's a wonderful place to express ourselves. We basically can say anything we want, subject to inciting imminent harm to others. That was kind of the rule. And also a lot of the copyright laws were kind of loosely construed. As you know, there's tons of memes out there that use famous TV shows as the image on it. A lot of sounds shared, a lot of clips from podcasts used to make fun of people. And that's all good. A lot of that's fair use. A lot of that's parody. But we have a lot of people out there. This article is from Wired, and it is by this guy named Roger McNamee. I guess he's a New York Times bestseller, and also, 34 years as a technology investor. I guess he was an early investor in Facebook, so he's got some money. And, just the thrust of this article is that urging President Biden in America to do more to censor social media. There's a big argument in this that the misinformation and disinformation have plagued social media, and that, Joe Biden, I guess, recently said they're killing people, meaning Facebook. Um, and it says here, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and Twitter have become core communications platforms in our society, but they are collectively undermining public health, democracy, privacy, and competition with disastrous consequences. So there's just this rift out there between people who believe that social media is doing a lot of harm with allowing the freedoms of the communication. And then there's some people out there, and I'm in this camp, who believe that pretty much all information should be available on social media. And that way, everyone has access to everything. And yes, there will be disinformation, there will be misinformation, there will be wrongs, there will be defamation out there. But the risk of limiting our free speech rights in America, or across the globe for that matter, is much something that I would not want to take. I'd rather have dangerous communication in social media than limit our free speech on social media. I think there's a value in having people have freedom of expression and allow ideas to go throughout the world, and also be able to work with each other, to be cooperative. But we are seeing this. It says here, it's easy to see why platforms fight so hard to resist reform. COVID disinformation, subversion of democracy, invasions of privacy, and anti-competitive behavior are not bugs. They are examples of the business models of internet platforms working exactly as designed. The problem is that platforms like Google and Facebook are too big to be safe. So they're not safe right now. This gentleman is saying that the social media platforms are not safe. So what he proposes is that we actually change the Communications Decency Act, Section 230, so that, I think what he's saying, it is not being super clear, but he's saying that I think social media platforms should be liable to a certain extent, or maybe entirely liable, vicariously liable, for the content of the creators on the platform. Sorry, my voice is a little gravelly today. So on the face of it, you might go, that's not a big deal. If the social media platform, if there's some disinformation, misinformation, wrong speak out there, maybe the social media platform should be held liable to the same extent of the person who posted it, so that maybe in the future there won't be wrong speech, there won't be bad speech, there won't be disinformation. So it sounds kind of cool. The problem is that if social media platforms are held liable for the poster's content, then they don't want to be. They're not going to be in that business anymore. They're going to be in the business of putting out content that they want to put out and that advertisers will pay for. And so what will happen is, over time, there won't be room for communications like we have here today. There just won't be. The social media platforms won't take the risk of me talking about this McAfee article and maybe saying something that's wrong or saying something that's disinformation. They don't want that risk. They don't want to be sued. So there won't be, independent creators like you and me, and we won't be making money off AdSense. We won't have the opportunities to be able to sell our services or to make a living in this world because of the fact that they're so concerned about wrong speak, misinformation, disinformation. So, my point here is not to get overly pessimistic or to get super angry, although I was yesterday. President Biden is also looking at, pressuring some of the communications industry to start maybe monitoring text messages. Could it be phone calls next? And that's worrying to me. That really is. That's a situation where we're getting to the point now where we can't feel safe with our communications anywhere unless it's in person. Even then, we can't, because there's a lot of surveillance cameras and AI out there. So all I'm trying to say is this is being pushed in the mainstream in articles that you see here. And we're going to, President Biden has always been, of the opinion that the Section 230 of the CDA should be amended. So we may see it amended in the next 3 years. And if that's the case, there may be problems. The social media platforms may go other places. They may certainly limit the content to only mainstream content that they've checked and double checked with legal to make sure they won't be sued on. And then you and I, we're going to have to find another route. I don't know if it'll be websites or it'll be like in the 60s or 70s where there was pirate radio. And people would, to not be in the jurisdiction of the country, they would have boats and they would broadcast what they wanted to say offshore. I don't know if it's going to be you and me out there on a boat, making review videos or reaction videos, but it very well could be. So it's something to think about. Really is, and I'm a little scared. I'd love to hear your views about censorship online. It would really help me to understand kind of what the audience is out there. Are you thinking that, listen, a little bit of censorship is good? It's better not to have all this bad stuff out there, lots of conspiracy theories stuff and all that stuff? Or are you saying, gosh, if we start limiting that information, then they might limit information that I want to talk about. And so at some point in time, it's the legal thing, the slippery slope happens. And then they start limiting stuff about tech. And then they start limiting stuff about Legos. And they start limiting stuff about any discussion about movies that's copyrighted content. I don't know. Tell me, what do you think? We got GB Rons. He says, "Hi, sir. What if I would like to sing a song and I put in YouTube? Obviously, will be under copyright. The question is what I do, because I love music and I don't have yet my own song." So we got GB, who basically wants to do covers. Awesome. So good. Easiest way in life to do covers is to do live covers. But how do you do it? Well, nowadays it's getting easier, actually. And I would encourage you to jump on TikTok, certainly jump on YouTube Shorts. Now, you may not be able to get the whole song out, like the 3 to 4 minutes, but what's kind of cool is they're doing a lot of stuff there. The libraries are increasing. And so long as you can do a 15-second video or so, you can, I think longer on Instagram, 30 seconds. You can do a kind of a sing-along video to get your voice out there, to be heard, to get discovered, and also be compliant with copyright law. Because a lot of, I've been looking at the YouTube Shorts music library, and it is robust. It is big. Certainly TikTok is the best. But there's a lot of opportunity out there for cover singers. Just use the existing media, popular media that's been licensed to you on the social media platform. So that would be the safest route. There's other ways to do it. I have seen some artists to be able to substantially transform pre-existing copyrighted songs sufficient that it triggers fair use. It doesn't happen often because there's multiple licenses at stake. There's the writing of the song, copyright. There's the performance of the song, copyright. So it's difficult. And then the other thing you could do, if you really wanted to check it out and you wanted to do the whole song, is YouTube does allow you to do a cover and then to upload it as unlisted on YouTube. Have all the copyright checks go forward. And then if it passes muster under the copyright checks, then conceivably you can post it, you can make it public. There's just more risks to it, right? Just because YouTube's AI copyright checks didn't find a problem with your music doesn't mean that in 2 and 3 and 4 years, it won't find a problem with it. Or worse, the original artist who wrote the song or performed the song doesn't learn about it a year and a half later and then file a DMCA takedown notice. So I think in the hierarchy of risks for cover songs, I think the first step is to look into the short form content platforms and see if you can use their licensed material to get your voice out there. Secondly, you could do a live stream and see how that goes. A lot of live streams are brought down. YouTube AI right now is amazing at being able to pick out copyrighted content out of a live stream, but you could try it. Then just unlist it, take it down, private it, or delete it. The other one is you could do your best to transform the song. Change it, change the instrumentation, change the way your voice is, change the tempo, change the overall feel for the song, and then upload it as unlisted on YouTube and see if that is sufficient. You pass this copyright muster and you can publish it. So that's probably the best ways to do it right now. Let's see. It says, Just Dude says, "Hey, by the way," I mean, it's a cliffhanger. I'm excited. What do you have to say? All right, we have, and this is the hard part about StreamYard. It's hard to pick out the comments. We got Christian Nation. See, Kristen has been with us for a while, and she knows that I love when someone writes question. Oh, we also got a super chat. Shoot, I will get to it right away. But Kristen loves, she puts out question, and that way I can see it in the chat. I have seen creators buy books, especially art books, and flip through the books so you can see all the pages. Can you get a copyright strike for this? This is what's called an incidental use of copyrighted material. Most of the time, the answer is no. I've seen creators do the same thing. One of the ways you can actually kind of have some B-roll for your videos to make them more watchworthy is to do things like this, flip through the pages, and then discuss the ideas in the book. And if it's discussion of the ideas in the book, it's either not copyrighted, it's a commentary, it's a critique, it's a discussion about the book that would trigger fair use. So I don't think you're going to have a problem flipping through the pages of a book. To be honest, I would flip through as quickly as possible. I mean, I might go because that way, the less use you have of copyrighted material, the less likely you could ever be sued. So I don't think that's a problem. I want to get to, I think it's Diana Wilson. I'm so good to see you, Diana. She gave us a super chat, and I just want to say thank you so much for that. That means so much to me, putting it right back in the channel so I can hopefully deliver some value. And where did it go? Her comment went here. Okay. It says, just popping in to say hi. I am running errands. I will catch the replay. Have a great Saturday. Well, thank you, Diana. That is so sweet of you to give us a super chat. And Diana is amazing. She does online courses. She creates online courses for people. You may want to, if you want to get a hold of her, you might want to drop a link or something into the chat so that she can give you more information on how you can create your own online course with her help. I want to tell you that having created online courses myself, it is daunting. It takes a long time. I was working with a creator yesterday who's spent 2 years on his online course, researching, filming the videos, doing the PDFs and all those things. So I'm not suggesting it's going to take you 2 years to do your online course, but if you have an advisor like Diana to help you out, I think it'll go faster. All right, so let's move on to Hell Rio. Good to see you, Hell. Oh, I don't know. You don't mind if I call you by your first name, do you? I have friends from Mexico who has a news channel on a YouTube, and a small piece from one of the videos was featured on a Netflix documentary. Is this legal to do? Just depends, it depends on how they use it, if there's fair use applicable. I don't know what the documentary was, but I will tell you that you can file DMCA takedown notices for any time that there's use of your art and you believe it was wrongful on social media online. So it's very possible if this was a situation where there was a violation, they took too much, they didn't explain it, they tried to use it for the original purpose that your friend used it for, then they could go to Netflix and file a DMCA takedown notice and have that documentary taken down conceivably. Now, when you do that, you do trigger a legal process, and the owner of the documentary has the opportunity to file a counter notification, which is basically a response to your initial complaint about copyright infringement. And then at that point in time, that gives you 10 to 14 days to file a federal lawsuit against them. If you don't, then that documentary goes right back up to where it started. So it's not something you do just on a whim. I would always advise people when they're going through the takedown process, if it's a significant one, to consult a social media lawyer that understands the process. Because the problem is that if you don't understand the process, you end up having to give away your address, your personal information. There could be when you're dealing with large companies, there could be some consequences that we don't know about. So it's not for the faint of heart. I would always advise you to consult with a legal counsel before you do DMCA takedown notices and counter notifications for sure. Just Dude says that explains paparazzi, I guess. Thank you for replying. Yeah, it does. I think a lot of them out there are trying to make some money. Question. All right, I love that. I was wondering, a famous celebrity here is suing the government because of online meme trolls, and he wants the government to add a law that you have to online ID to sign up for Twitter. Is that possible? Oh, okay. That's interesting. That brings up another topic that I've always kind of thought was interesting, and that is, one of the problems with social media, and one of the things we could do, and please tell me in the comments if I'm being completely lame, is we could do away with anonymity online. I was thinking about Twitter. It's like one of the only social media platforms, maybe YouTube, but where anonymity is not very common. In other words, because people believe that if you're going to speak out against someone, that you should put your name behind it. Tell me if I'm wrong, but I believe most of Twitter are live people. Mine is Ian Corzine, at Ian Corzine. So when I try to call someone out, or if I'm going to make a controversial opinion, I understand that that is going to come back at me. What if we made a rule, a global rule, across the world, where in order to use social media, you have to have an idea. You have to somehow identify yourself as the person behind the account. Now, I know one of the unbelievable joys and freedoms of social media, especially like on things like Reddit, is when you don't have to prove that you are, who you are. You can just say, my name is Pegasus Paper Towel, and you can make comments. You can participate as Pegasus Paper Towel, which is a great screen name, by the way. I don't know. It's something to think about. So in this situation, it sounds like Just Dude is, I don't know exactly where Just Dude is. Just Dude, let me know in the comments where you're from. It looks potentially like England. I don't know. But the thought is, should we require that? Would that do away with a lot of the disinformation and misinformation? There's been arguments that various countries out there like Russia or China have infiltrated our election system here in America. If you have to be, if you can't be anonymous on the internet, maybe that would reduce that impact. Let me know what you think, because I don't know my full opinion on that. Maybe I'll do a video on that at some point in time, but that might solve some issues. Let's see. See what it says. Nanobots. Can I post your answer to my question to my channel to teach my subscribers about copyright and send them to your channel, please? This is a perfect example of getting consent to use copyrighted content. And the answer to that question, Nanobot, is exactly yes, of course. I'd be happy anytime I can get more information out there so that more creators like you can make money and not get copyright strikes, not wake up 2 years from now and have a DMCA takedown notice, threaten their channel. You're paying for your family, you're trying to make ends meet, and now you have a problem with your channel. Yes, I get that out there. Feel free to use my videos as references. You can go to my website, iancorzine.com, where there's a lot of junk there. There's legal templates. There's my free book on copyright. You can go to my podcast and listen there. And I don't mind if you share it either. If you are on the stream right now and want to share this stream to someone who maybe could watch it on the replay, or maybe just join us, we still have some time here, I would love that. Sharing is really, really great, and it gets the word out. Because again, my only purpose for doing this and having this system here is to be able to help people understand these rules are coming. More and more censorship is coming. More and more strict enforcement of copyright law is coming. More enforcement of trademark law is coming. You need to have your own business entity to protect you from these threats. Those are the things I'm trying to get out. So Anna R is here. Let's see. Can you read poetry or song lyrics on your YouTube channel? Would you need to get permission? Well, the answer to the question, you see it all over the place. This is a big discussion that we have a lot of times. Is like, dude, he's doing it, so why can't I do it? You see it all over the place. And the answer is you can, within the law, read poetry or song lyrics on your YouTube channel. For one, some of that poetry or song lyrics is in the public domain. A lot of the poetry you may want to read is done back in 1516, in which case there was no copyright protection attached. The other thing you can do is you can do like perfect fair use, which is commentary, critique, or education. So let's say you want to teach people to write poetry. So what you do is you read a few lines and then you say, see how she did this? See how she used this verb? See how she kept it to this, this length? That's how you write poetry, and that's teaching about it. So that's conversion. People are looking at you for learning about how to write poetry as opposed to the actual poetry itself. So absolutely, song lyrics is another example. We see that a lot on YouTube, and also we see it a lot on Twitch, where people do, and I love it, it's really good content. They don't worry about the music part. They just critique the lyrics. And I think that's always a really cool, function in this world, because, music functions on multiple levels, right? There's an emotional part that has to do with the instrumentation and all that stuff, but there's also the emotional part that has to do with the song lyrics themselves. And so I've seen lots of channels where they just take out the music part, but they look and they parse the song lyrics and then make critiques about it. This looks like he's just trying to fill the song. It doesn't make much sense. Oh, this part is very heartfelt, and he's using this. I think this. When you're in your media and you're trying to trigger fair use, saying your opinion is a real good signal to people out there who might want to file a DMCA takedown notice against you. That listen, this is fair use. This is opinion. This is my belief. This is my freedom to say this opinion. So yes, you can. I don't know if that was too long. Sometimes I get passionate about it. GB Rons. Thank you so much, sir, for answering my question about music copyright. Thank you so much, sir, for joining us at 7 in the freaking morning. I appreciate it. All right, we got BC. I like that. Maybe she's from British Columbia. I don't know. Hi, Ian. Thanks for answering our questions. Hashtag question. Let's see, guys, this is great. Big question. Hashtag for these eyes. I need to be able to see that. Is it possible to make book summaries and meet copyright guidelines? Do you advise against this? Well, this is a questionable one. You're seeing this is a very popular part of social media now, and I'm going to encourage you guys, if you haven't started your channels or you're thinking about different topics, summaries of content are blowing up right now. People do not have time. That's why you see TikTok with 15-second videos and YouTube Shorts the same, and Instagram Reels. The three pillars right now. Those social media platforms with short content. That's because people want to swipe up, and they like this, they don't like this, and they just want to swipe up. So summary content, whether it be summaries of books, summaries of videos, summaries of music, even is blowing up, and I would have you consider that for your content. Now, what I think the best thing to do when it comes to summaries of content is to not use the content itself. Discuss the ideas of the content. So one of the things that I think makes really engaging content is when you don't literally summarize a page and then put that out in either video or written word on a blog. But what you do is you give your opinions about portions of the art as you go forward. Because what's so funny is that's the most engaging content. When you can put yourself into the content itself, not only does it trigger fair use, but it's also way more engaging. I think that a lot of creators who are successful have figured out they've taken angles on content. What they mean by that is they don't just summarize the words. They read the chapter and then they go, what's my take on that? And what people want on social media or entertainment in general is your take, not that the house was cold, and you summarized it. And then you said that, they went to the store. They want, why is that important? So I think that the best way to do summary content is not to worry so much about using the content itself, is really to broadcast your take on the content. And there's plenty of examples of channels like that. I always go back to Vegetable Police, probably my favorite channel. There's times when he does book reviews on there. He does content about health and those things. He'll do book reviews, but he doesn't summarize the chapter. He just gives us the 5 takes he has on that book. And in doing that, it is a summary of it. He's giving kind of the ideas that are discussed in it, but it's way more engaging because we want to know about what his views are about the content, not necessarily the content itself. And by the way, it saves time. It's much more efficient. I've been reading a lot of books. Well, I always read a lot of books, but most books are amazing amount of filler. So I've read books where there's one central idea. Literally there's, 350 pages, but there's one idea. Don't write a book like that, by the way, but, that we don't have time for that. So we want just give me your opinion about this content. That's going to be engaging. So it is legal and it's very possible you can make some really engaging content, but just do this after each chapter, after each section, go, what's my angle on this? What's my take on this? And then write that down in your notebook and then put that onto social media and then you'll blow up. Crazy Tech and Puppets. Such a good combination. I love that. And thank you so much for joining us, Crazy Tech. I've seen you many times on the live stream before, and I'm really, really happy you're here. It says here, what about quotes on podcasts? I started a UFO podcast on the Pentagon UAP report, also uploading to YouTube. Quotes are fine. I would just suggest to you that the main way to use quotes the best is when they're needed. If you can summarize the idea of the quote without using the words, it's better. Honestly, it is. But if there's a really great turn of phrase, maybe you want to use it for credibility purposes. The Pentagon says this. That's okay. It just, you got to have your critique and your commentary or your education behind that or your news reporting. So what does that mean? Is in order to, I tell my creators that you really got to pound that fair use. So if you have a quote from the Pentagon and you want to say this is bunk, this is not true, then I would just say, here's this quote that I don't believe in, quote. And then you go, the reason I don't believe in this quote is because this is not true. This proves this disproves this. My opinion is that the Pentagon is doing this for this reason. That's all information that you can use to really secure against later on having a copyright problem. So, yeah. Do a couple more questions here, and then I want to do TikTok algorithm because I want to make sure you guys are understanding that what's going on there. We got Iva. Can we ask other legal questions, or is this mainly for intellectual property? I have a question regarding common carrier definition. Whoa. Well, you can ask. Way back when, I want to say back in 2002, I did some common carrier litigation. There's also the argument that social media could be common carriers. Common carriers are within the law. There are certain private sector businesses that have to obey certain fundamental rules. A lot of times discriminatory rules and rules that you can't have discrimination. In other words, you might have, I don't know if Amtrak is a private sector company, but if it is, and it's the American Train Company, they're a private sector company, so they are allowed to discriminate under private rules. However, they're a common carrier, so they're not, because you couldn't say that all 40-year-olds can't travel on Amtrak. In the private sector, you might be able to discriminate, but in some types of businesses, like social media, potentially, like trains, maybe like situations where communications, you should not be allowed to discriminate. So yeah, I have a ask away. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a break from what we're talking about here, and I want to get to another subject. And let's see if I can put it on the screen. Share. Let's see. Stop screen. We'll do another share. Just because I think this is important. Maybe it's me being egotistical here, but let's see if we can put. Yeah, we're on here. Let's take Iva off. All right. So let's just see. I don't know if you can do that. Can you do the audio here?
For you page has been a little too accurate lately. It hasn't been.
Let me know in the comments if you can hear this.
It's been thoughts. TikTok knows everything about us.
I'll just go scroll and let me ask you something first. Can someone please explain how this algorithm works?
TikTok users often wonder how the world's fastest growing social network seems to know them so well.
TikTok's secretly listening to us while we're watching videos? I don't know.
The answer to how this app gets to know you so intimately is a highly secretive algorithm, long guarded by TikTok's China-based parent company, ByteDance.
TikTok has been so successful in terms of implementing their algorithms.
TikTok's algorithm can influence the thinking of U.S. youth.
To understand how it knows users.
Oh, really?
The Wall Street Journal created over 100 automated TikTok accounts, or bots, that watched hundreds of thousands of videos on the app. We also spoke to current and former executives at the company. Officially, the company says that shares, likes, follows, and what you watch all play a role in what TikTok shows you. We found that TikTok only needs one of these to figure you out: how long you linger over a piece of content.
All right, so that's what we're going to be talking about now, which is the TikTok algorithm. And the reason why I know everyone out there uses YouTube, and I know there's a lot of YouTube creators out there that are here today, but I just wanted to talk about what the future is going to be, because I've had this conversation with a lot of different people, and I have to ask you, if you haven't moved on to TikTok or included TikTok in your repertoire for your social media, I encourage you to do that. I think that in the next 5 years, there's going to be a growing divide between long form content and short form content. And I have to tell you that the views, that the watches are going to be in the short form. People are getting super accustomed to to short form content. And I think that we're starting to see the views on YouTube as a whole going down due to TikTok. And I got to also tell you that it's not just the zillennial, it's not just Gen Z and millennials. It actually is penetrating to the older generations. I recently was on a trip with someone who's in their 50s, and she was watching TikTok for about an hour when we had an hour to kill between flights. And I had no idea. I thought it was just a young phenomenon. That's what I see, but it's not. People just love the efficiency of it. They love the quick adrenaline hit. In my opinion, there's only 4 videos that are really making it out there: novel videos, commentary videos, tutorial videos, and then kind of like what I call infuriating videos, or like, triggering videos. Like maybe you might have a controversial subject. Those are the 3 things that are popping on those platforms right now. And so what it really stems from, why they're doing so well, like I said, is because of the efficiency issue. But there's also the thought that people want to be able to control the content. And I think a lot of times our content is so long that you can't control it. And in TikTok, and looking at 15-second videos, and Instagram, or Instagram Reels, looking at 30-second videos, people feel more control of their content. And how it works, as they referred to in this video right here, is that it's almost now solely dependent upon how long you actually watch views, or if you rewatch the views. Now, this is a topic that's been going on with YouTube for a long time. YouTube's algorithm was the first to do this. They moved to watch time as a primary indicator of whether or not someone likes the content. And the reason they were able to do that is because they know what the video is. There's so much AI analysis done of your videos on TikTok, on YouTube, on Instagram Reels, that if you are, a TikTok comes up that has some religious content, and you watch the full 15 seconds, or you watch it again, now TikTok knows that you like religious content. So I guess what I'm trying to say is that as we go forward, these algorithms are going to really infiltrate all the social media platforms, because TikTok and YouTube have been so successful with these types of content. So what does that mean for you and me? I was talking to a great friend this week about it. I think, I am the opinion that if you want to continue to get that outreach, to get your value out there, that you're going to have to venture into this area of YouTube Shorts, Instagram Reels, and TikTok, and just try it out. See if there's a way to get the content that you really want out there done in 15, 30, 1 minute a time period. And I'm doing that right now. I've done a fair amount of shorts, and I'm going to continue to do those, because a lot of times what I want to say is it can be cut down into a few short sentences. Maybe there's more impact through that. Maybe I can, connect with more people if we do more short form content. It doesn't hurt that the platforms right now are emphasizing short form content. I don't know. I haven't made an Instagram Reel yet. I will be making one. But I'm told that people who are making quality reels right now are getting a lot of impact. So it's something that I think you should consider as you go forward on your content, and not just kind of do the same old thing and do the same old, 12-minute, 8-minute video, and kind of just get used to kind of just talking off the cuff, and maybe saying more stuff than you need to say, but maybe really just paring it down and seeing if there's a way for you to be able to access the views that come with short form content. So let's see here. Let's see. We got, I'm just trying to follow up on where I was. I'm lost in the comment. All right, here we go. Oh, Netherlands. Just Dude is from Netherlands. So welcome, Just Dude. Just Dude. All right, Crazy Tick Puppets. We got a question. Hashtag question help so I can see it. What about quotes on podcasts? We already asked this question. We already answered this question. Sorry. Whoops. Thank you. You rock. Thank you so much. Looks like here, Paul Caps. Seems like a lot less censorship now than in the 50s, 60s. My dad said it was a lot worse in the 40s. Well, you know what, Paul? It may be. I was not around then, so that may be the case. I just think that the internet is different than any other communications that has ever existed. It has given a voice to almost anyone in the world because of the the gate to get on the internet is so low. Sometimes phones are very cheap. Sometimes you get them for free. Sometimes you can borrow them. Almost anyone has a microphone. So when we talk about censorship, I don't think it's just, censorship in magazines or newspapers or radio and things like that. I think we think that it's a mass, I don't know, movement to be able to really control the information out there. And what was so wonderful about the internet when we started to recognize its value was everything, the information is out there. So it's very concerning to me. We got Iva here. Oh, wow. Okay. Let's just entertain Iva here. How is it determined that a private company has a common carrier status? Do they apply for a license or at a regulatory body? If not, who assigns the common carrier designation? Can a company refuse? Well, these are really good questions. I would actually ask you to email me when you get a chance, but you know what? It just depends. I mean, there's definitely federal common carrier status. There's also state common carrier status. If you're in America, I don't know what country this is. But maybe email me and we can talk about it. It says here, BritTech09. I got a copyright strike for showing someone how to recover their data on some software and the company copyright strike. Yeah, I've seen this before. We actually had another gentleman be on our live recently. Yeah, what's happening is sometimes you'll do a video about one product, and maybe you'll say that it's a good product, and then either the manufacturer of the product, if you're saying it's a bad product, will copyright strike you, or even a competitor will copyright strike you trying to get that video down. And they're using the copyright system, DMCA takedown notice system, in a bad and a wrong way. There is no copyright violation from you giving your opinion about a product. That's fair use. Certainly, if you limit the actual product or the disclosure, the view of the product itself during the video, that helps. But you can give your opinions about anything. So we're seeing a lot of that, and the only way around it that I've been able to find, you obviously could bring a lawsuit, but it costs so much money. But what we've done is we've just worked with YouTube. YouTube has been pretty good about it. When there is a blatant misuse of the copyright system, we bring it to the attention of either the MCN of the creator or YouTube. And, if I get involved, I got to tell you, a lot of times it goes away fairly quickly. I don't think I've ever had a situation where there's been a false copyright strike and I've gotten involved and there hasn't been a reversal. So yeah, that's the best thing, is to work with YouTube. I could certainly help you with that. If you wanted to set some time up with me on iancorzine.com, we could talk about it. We hear through the mic. I see. I'll have to figure that out as far as the when I do screen share. It says here, I'm a little bit behind because I just paused, but you can hear it through speakers. Oh, through your speakers. Thanks. Cool. We got Exploring Israel. But Ian, what's it with TikTok without our background of music? TikTok will not allow it. Could it be only because they want to take their choosing, since my channel's a tourist channel? Not exactly. Exploring, sometimes I don't understand your questions. In this case, that is one of them. It says, but I think what he's saying is, I don't know if he's saying that he has his own music that TikTok won't allow, but I don't think that's the case. Generally, if it's your original music, any of the platforms will allow it. I don't know exactly about the answer to the question. Let's just be real. I don't know. Maybe give me some more detail on that, and I can answer. Now, Iva not only has common carrier questions, but she also has a TikTok question. Ian, there is a TikTok being shared that claims that in the context of litigation, content creators can be subpoena info on users that are reporting and flagging content. Is that correct? Creators can subpoena info. Well, if there's a civil lawsuit filed against another creator, let's say a creator sues another creator for a civil lawsuit, let's say it's defamation, a statement of a false statement causing damage in money, then yeah, the power of the court allows the plaintiff in this case to be able to issue subpoenas to demand production of documents, demand information in the form of interrogatories, and also to demand depositions. In other words, to command someone to appear on a conference room someday and be questioned by a lawyer. So Yeah, the answer is yeah. If there's a civil lawsuit, then the court bestows power upon us attorneys to be able to call people into, to answer questions and to do depositions. So it's not a rumor; it's true. Absolutely. All right. So yeah. So we're at the 8 o'clock hour. Okay. So yeah, I just want to kind of finish up with a last kind of a summary of what we talked about today, so that you can take these lessons and then move on to your content. I think let's go reverse. TikTok algorithm focuses on how long you hover over video, how long you watch videos. If you rewatch, TikTok and YouTube are the number one short form content. Actually, I take that back. IG Reels is up there too. TikTok, YouTube Shorts, and IG Reels are the top three short form content platforms right now. They're getting the most attention. I would encourage you to make short form content. See if there's a way to either take snippets or make summaries of your content and put it on there. I think you can get a lot more exposure going forward. The other part I want to talk about is we talked about censorship today. We talked about, looks like President Biden, looks like there was a discussion about, I guess, the president of Brazil. YouTube took some videos down that he made relating to all sorts of stuff about the pandemic. We're seeing system-wide this rush towards more censorship of social media. So create while you can. Get in there. If you're hesitating on making a channel, don't. Get on board. Think about short form content. You can use your phone. I swear to God, that's good enough. Plenty of creators are making millions of dollars with their phones, so that's important. The third point, which was our first point, was Dua Lipa situation. Remember that if you're in public and someone takes a photo of you in public, and then you later on find this photo, you can't post it to Instagram or YouTube or any of the social media platforms, because you don't own that photograph. Even though it's a picture of you, you don't own it. You got to get consent to be able to use that in your art, or use fair use, but that's a whole nother story. So those are the main lessons that I wanted to get across today for today's live stream. If you have more questions, you need to contact me directly. Just remember that you can always go to iancorzine.com. You can get my email address there. There's legal templates there that you can use for your YouTube or social media business in general. There's also a consult link. You can schedule some time with me personally. I can go through your individual issues and see if I can resolve them. And most of the time I can. So that's the case. And then, of course, we talked about today, there's our membership program on the YouTube channel. Be happy if you join as a member. There's a lot of different perks that are involved. You get special emojis and all these different things. But the main one is that you get to join us on a personal, private live stream every month, in which I can answer your questions. And it's going to be probably more cost effective than joining me for a consult. So that is what we were talking about today. I will see you on next time's live stream.